Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first industry guest talk. Our speaker today is Ali Ehtemami. Um, Here are my beautiful students. You see some of them are off the frame. Online, there is Miriam Harris, my colleague, is online. We have other students like my eyes can Jasmine or Hannah or Linda or Medina, like we have some online people as well. So once we get to Q&A, I will read their questions to you as well. Let me just set this to the text so I can read the questions here. So guys, this is going to be an open discussion. So like at any time you feel you have a question from Ali, so ask. So don't be shy. So we are very delighted and honored to have you, Ali, here. Ali is the lead dynamic, a lead compositor and a new TD technical director, which has worked on multiple VFX projects. Your portfolio is like kind of makes us envious, Ali. So you have worked on some really cool projects like Spider-Man and Jungle Cruise and you know, like this Black Widow, and you travel all around the world. Actually, in your you're gonna talk, but I just want to open it. You will tell about your journey better for us. What fascinates me is your because guys, nice story. Ali and I know each other for a long time, but we've never met. So,
Classic.
Yeah, classic. So your works. So you started like I like your dynamic engagement with the industry. So now that we are moving into the age of AI, you are one of the first people I saw started to create Python codes that connects ChatGPT to Nuke. So which
No, I'm pretty old-fashioned in this manner. Yeah, I used to still take notes on paper.
um, and it's great that you see how you have worked on all these amazing projects. So without further ado, I will let you take the lead and let us know about your journey. Anything that you have for our amazing students and new that's going to be new visual effects artists or animation artists out there. Anything, any interesting topics that you want to talk about, and towards the end we're going to have like a Q&A and ask you questions.
Sure, sure. So yeah, firstly, thanks for inviting me into your beautiful class. Nice to see you guys here. Yeah, so I'm Ali. You may know. So yeah, I'm Ali. I'm originally from Iran. So I've been in industry for 8 years, I would say. However, I was working before that, but professionally 8 years, and I started from working on local films in my country. Also, I used to do comp, VFX editorial, car management, on-set VFX supervision, and everything I can do. In a smaller productions like the companies in Iran. So the team is pretty small, so I had to work, or I had to, do as much as I can to help the project. So I would say that really helps me. Yeah, because on bigger productions, maybe you are a tiny bit in a bigger company. So yeah, I started my journey actually from 2015. I also have a presentation or a keynote here. Maybe it's easier for me to follow that. Can I share my screen?
Yes,
Yeah,
up right on your right hand, you see like next to that red button, you see a share screen button.
Okay, so share tray or Is it
You
share
can
tray?
you can share desktop 1 or desktop.
Yeah. Oh, so get tricky. Okay. So you see my screen now, and you
Yes.
may see my keynote. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it makes it much easier.
But we only see your desktop.
So you don't see my first page of presentation?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Unless we just see a purple, beautiful mountain.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't use to Mac OS. That's the problem. Okay. So I don't know how to.
You can stop sharing. Stop sharing. Stop sharing and try a different thing. Share again instead of desktop. You just.
This is my only option here. Maybe let's try to bring that keynote in a new desktop. That's tricky. Yeah, just one moment.
Never
New
mind.
one.
So while
Yeah.
Ali's saying that, anyone who might have question, this is the mic. I pass it to you. Like it's shared here in the middle.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I just go ahead. Yeah, I don't know how to bring that up. Okay. Yeah. Like take your time.
Do you want to send the? Oh, we don't have Mac OS here. It's PC. I just wanted to ask you to send me the presentation file, so I open it here.
Let me do something. I minimize my application here.
Or you export it as PDF.
Maybe it takes time. I wonder. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how to share that on the other desktop. Okay. So let's just go ahead. Yeah. Should be fine. Yeah, okay. So I started from 2015.
Sorry, we still can't see your presentation.
No, I know. I just talk.
Oh, okay. So then stop sharing, so we see your beautiful face rather than the screen.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Stop sharing. Yep. Okay. That's better. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So from there, 2015, I worked on like maybe 20 films as comper, also supervisor, like being on the shooting set. And then I decided to take a new challenge and apply for jobs abroad. So that was a bit of process that takes almost 2 years of sending resume and demo reel to every company I know, like more than 50 companies. And yeah, I got lots of interviews like from companies in Canada, London, and stuff like that. But yeah, it didn't go well with the visa process. But yeah, hopefully I got my first job at Rising Sun Pictures in Australia. Actually, that was one of my top of the list companies that I would like to join them. So that happened. So in 2019, I moved to Australia, Adelaide, and joined Rising Sun Pictures. Yeah, so working with Rising Sun, Rising Sun is a small city called Adelaide, and but big films happen there. And also, I surprised how advanced are their team, like in terms of technology, workflow, and stuff like that. And I experience like more other companies now, but I still see they are doing great. They are still advanced, and I learned a lot from them. So you can imagine my first days. I was in a totally new world, just my 99% of my CPU just spending on like analyzing environment and just one person doing my actual job. So it was a bit tough. But yeah, I learned a lot with the QC process, with reviewing. So that was something that I never experienced in my past experience, in Iran, because we have to like pass final shots as quick as we can. So yeah, I spent there around 2 years. I worked on some of the shows that you mentioned, like I started on Jungle Cruise. Then I worked on Black Widow. Also, I can talk more about those shows if you want. I worked on Boys 2, the TV show, Shang-Chi, Candyman, and Mortal Kombat. That was a cool show. and it was shot in the same city, Adelaide. Like the film production was there actually. So we worked on around 900 shots, maybe more. Yeah, we were the actually main vendor of the show. So yeah, lots of cool effects, character, compositing wise, nice lens effects and stuff like that that I like. Yeah, then COVID happened. Some problem. I involved with some problem, like we couldn't like travel. Or somehow we stuck in the country. So for a year. So we decided to, yeah, yeah, it's a bit tragic because my wife is stuck overseas for more than a year. So I was alone in Australia for around 14 months. So that was a bit tough. Also, I really love Australia, but so I had to like have a plan B. So I moved to Canada as a plan B. So yeah, I joined Forks VFX in Toronto, and I started on Spider-Man. What was the name? No Way Home. Yeah, I totally forgot it. Yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home, the last one.
There's plenty of it.
Yeah, that's why I say they're really similar. Yeah, I started on Spider-Man. I worked on it for around 5 months, 6 months, around 200 shots. We are doing mostly adding CG suit to the character, like a hybrid CG suit, keeping the face and neck and replacing the suit was a tough with all those deformations. Yeah, and that was my first lead role there. So I was taking care of more technical stuff also, as well as doing comps. Like I was designing the workflows, like regrain, DI matte process, QC, and stuff like that. So that was a really great experience for me. Then I decided to move to BC, Vancouver, before winter hitting us in Toronto. So I skipped the winter at the right time. And then I joined Image Engine because I always thinking of if I go to Canada, I should work at Image Engine because Image Engine is my favorite company. You may know it. They worked on District 9 and Chappie, compositing wise, those shows are really spectacular, especially District 9. And yeah, it's been more than a year or maybe near 2 years almost. I'm here at Image Engine. I started as a senior comper, then I take a lead role, and now I'm leading a couple of shows now. And also I'm involved with the workflow and developing some tools, automations and stuff like that, as well as doing shots and having my main role as a lead comper. Yeah, still working till, I don't know, you asked about AI. It's a really vague situation, vague era we are living now. It's a bit challenging.
So for many of my students who will be graduating soon, you said that it took you 2 years and 50 applications until you find your spot. So this is the first step. Like I see my students, they graduate, they don't get the first job they apply, they get depressed and message me like, I'm so bad at finding jobs and things. Like I really like you to give some insight in this regard, that like the process that you go through, your communication with different companies, prioritizing which, like how you plan, how you apply, how you avoid getting frustrated while you are in the application process, because not every company has a job right now for you. Possibly for me, same thing happened. Like I applied for a position and they told me that we like your resume, but we don't have a job for you. But after 6 months, they contacted me back again and say, oh, we have a new show showing up. So which I started working. So give us some insight in this regard. for new graduates?
Yeah, so the cool thing is applying is free for sure, at least for now. So yeah, doesn't cost any money. You can apply anytime you want. And so yeah, I keep trying, like I would say for 2 years, maybe like I would say I applied for a job at MPC I maybe 3 times a year or something, like every 3 months. So because you have to keep a gap for sure. But yeah, so yeah, that's the right thing. You won't get your first job unless the time is, you hit the right time. It depends on the company and the shows. Like now, it's a bit tricky, the situation of the market, but it's a bad sign because all the shows are stopped now. But also, like in the new year, like early new year, gonna be a boom in the market because again, all the shows are running at the same time. So that time gonna be a golden time to apply for jobs. So yeah, I would say, you may see lots of open positions or jobs on the company websites, but actually they are not open because for some marketing reason, for like I don't know, like business reasons or finance or anything, uh, they have to or they prefer to keep their website full of like open positions. But actually, I found what recruiters are posting on LinkedIn is the actual open position and what they need at that time. Yeah, because that's the actual job of the recruiters to post the current jobs. So I would say try to connect with recruiters and also supervisors and like maybe seniors and leads in your like what you were doing, like lead compers, lead FX artists in the companies. Keep in touch with them, send your real resume, ask about their opinion or thoughts. So I found that really helpful with finding a job. I got all of my jobs in LinkedIn. I'm following, sending messages and doing follow up on the messages. Like if you get your first like positive response, still you have to follow up on that because it may take like 2 or 3 months to get back to you again. So yeah, it's really
So
frustrating for sure.
yeah, so
Yeah.
so that's a very interesting point. So like finding the companies you would like to work for and following them on LinkedIn and waiting for them to send like open positions on LinkedIn. So your understanding is that that's the serious like open position just now, which they're looking after.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So also be in touch with recruiters, on LinkedIn. You can you can get also feedback on your resume or demo reels sometimes, most of the recruiters are not really have deep understanding on the skills they are looking for. Actually, I would say, it's not maybe not the right thing to say, but sometimes they're just looking for some specific words or parts in your resume. They're not compers or lighting artists. But also you can ask about your resume or demo from like head of department of the company or supervisors in the companies. Maybe just 5% of them respond to you, but that's totally enough.
Great, great. How was life in Adelaide, by the way?
uh, I miss it. It's
Yeah,
pretty calm.
it
Yeah,
was
it's
it was funny when you said that Mortal Kombat was filmed in that. It's such a calm and quiet place, and then suddenly
yeah.
you see like a gore and like kind of like violent show coming out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. The first sequences of the film was shot exactly in the hiking trails that I went every week.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you do karate or like kung fu over there as
nah,
well?
just walking and walking.
Just what?
Yeah.
So one thing that you mentioned, and I like you to talk about it for my students, is the how to, because you said that when you started in Adelaide, it was your first job. Suddenly you find yourself surrounded by so many seniors and lots of people like that are doing so complicated stuff. How to overcome this first days anxiety? Like people, you start to feel like a bit anxious, like what I'm doing here, what's happening. So how to overcome this feeling? Because that's what many of you will experience. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so yeah, companies are managing like the first month of the new hires, like in a way that if you do something wrong or if you're not on time or anything, you're not in like a danger to the show. So yeah, you have room, you have time to like deal with your tasks, to to find everything. Mostly, when you hire in a company, the most challenging thing you may see is not like technicality or how to work with the software. They actually pipeline, or maybe like project management software like Shotgun F-Track. Maybe you didn't work before, or if you join a new company, they set those softwares in a new way. So yeah, always those part of the job is like always new to you. So yeah, but in terms of like technical skills or software related stuff, they have lots of documentations, lots of videos, and you have some what they call buddy. So you can like actual persons that you can ask. So in person or virtually, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so yeah, you don't have tasks like urgent in the show on the first month or first week at least. But yeah, so I joined the company that like the person works next to me. He had like more than 20 years of experience in this industry and work on all the biggest films in that 20 years. But surprisingly, you can read it from like their face, their manner or something. So yeah, but you'll find uh, your skills or special skills you have that may be helpful in a way that other people can do what you do. So yeah, for example, for me, I was curious in everything, like every tool, every gizmo they had. I used to go through that gizmo and see what is inside. And in that way, I found lots of errors and problems, sometimes serious problems with those tools. So that helped me to like find my passion, like besides just compositing and just doing everyday tasks. So also for you, you can like while you're working, you can find what is your like main skill or special skill that differentiate you from other seniors. It happens for sure.
Awesome. So you started as a compositing artist, then you became senior compositor and then lead. So what's the difference between these roles? Like what do you do as a lead extra to the other ones?
Yeah, so lead and senior positions sort of similar, but lead roles are more technical or more creative. It depends on the show, depends on the team. So in my position, I'm a senior that has more technicality or technical skills. So yeah, that differentiate that. Also, you should be able to like communicate well or like share experiences or answer to lots of questions at the same time. Maybe people ask you while you're doing your job actually. Finding bugs or troubleshooting and stuff like that. It's like leads are keeping the continuity of the shot in a technical way, not necessarily creatively, because comp soup and visual effects supervisor are responsible for the creative side of like every task. And what's the difference between a comper or mid artist, mid comper and senior? They're doing mostly the same shots, but like seniors doing shots with like crazy camera movements or stereoscopic shots or the shots that need more care, or maybe long take ones like the shots has like 2000 frame or something, because it's a bit more challenging to deal with. But in terms of look, maybe they look the same, at the end of the day. Yeah, because they have to. Yeah. Also, it's all about the experience. comes with experience.
Great. Online people, feel free to leave your questions if you have any. Also, anyone has any questions? I have plenty, but before me, just keep talking. Yes. Okay.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, they're shy. Tell us how someone could be a great compositing artist. What are the requirements of it, both technically and creatively?
Yeah, I would say try to observe what you see and detail what you see, even in real life. So that's really help you, to look for details, what something happened, why the shadow under the sun is like that, So stuff like that. Also, watch good films, like from good DOPs or maybe Oscar winners in cinematography. So yeah, list those films and try to watch and analyze the shots. That's really helpful. Company is not all about software. Maybe just a small percentage about software because everybody can work with Nuke or After Effects, if you will. But yeah, in terms of having a good eye to detail and lens effects and how like treat edges and combine the edges and stuff like that, how to decide to do something, you can do it technically, but maybe you don't see those problems if you have the skill also. So yeah, just I would say train your eyes to detail and be passionate.
You said you're developing some tools. Do you want to talk about the parts that you can talk about it? So like what tools you are developing for your team, and what process someone who is interested to be a TD as well go through?
Yeah. So there are different sort of development we are doing. There are some tools that are used in the whole facility or whole company, like as a main or global tools, like main compositing templates or like the tools that are useful for every show. But also there are some tools that are specific to a show or a sequence of a show. So yeah, I'm involved in both. Like now I'm working on the master compositing template of the company to make the comp layout standard. Also, we are developing like a modular type of compositing workflow, and also we're working on like minimizing like filtrations and how to deal with chromatic aberration and lens distortion and stuff like that. So that's the overall thing, global thing that applies to all the shows that we are working. But for the shows, like I'm doing some creative tools like simulating depth of field based on the kernel or bokeh that come from the plates. Also involved in like the regrain process. We are trying to like improve for every show and trying new things, new ways of denoising and applying the noise again. And also some automations, like maybe we need to do some batch update on some tools and grab some data from the network and apply it to the comp with one click. So which has happened with Python Nuke. So also doing those sort of things. But yeah, in terms of tools, yeah, lots of tools I made, like creative ones. I made a tool called AE Machine Gun, which makes light tracers.
This one, he explains about it on LinkedIn. If you follow Ali on LinkedIn, you can see this tool. I enjoyed watching the video you made for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I made that tool like many years ago, like before even I joined Rising Sun Picture. But the cool thing was the first day I like went to the office at Rising Sun. One of the comp soups, like grab me and say, "Hey, Ali, I see your name in that tool. Did you make it?" So, and that was a cool thing. They were using it on Jungle Cruise, even
Oh, wow.
before they know me. Yeah, they didn't
Oh,
know
that's
me before.
interesting.
Yeah,
That's
just
very
someone
interesting.
randomly find it on Nukepedia and find it like easy to use. Yeah, I like to make tools with least like user interaction. Like I try to make everything automated or try to spend time to automate the background of what is happening actually in the tool, and user just have like a couple of like buttons or a couple of knobs to deal with, not a complex or huge like list of knobs that user need to like tweak those knobs. You know, I'm not the person. I can also work with like complex gizmos on network, but yeah, also have a background in software engineering that helps me a bit. Yeah, to test and develop tools. You know how to test tools. That's really important.
Actually, Nana asks sort of similar questions. She asks, did you go to uni for software engineering, or was it something you took up in your own time? If you were a student now, how would you go about learning software engineering to supplement your VFX skills? That's a very good question, Nana.
Yeah, yeah. I studied software engineering, but it wasn't related to CG or VFX because also that's funny because software engineer is not a person that do the code actually. Is the person who designed the team and the overall process of making a software or application. So I learned like how to troubleshoot, how to make algorithms. Also, I used to code in C++ and C Sharp, but I totally forget everything. Also, also it's a bit different to code for graphics and pixel generation compared to what I learned in university. But in terms of like testing a software or like user experience and stuff like that, I gained lots of like knowledge from university. And after many years, I started again to learn Python and apply to like Nuke tools and Nuke automations. And where to start? That's a good question because that was my main question when I joined Rising Sun Picture. I was asking like the technical guys how to start coding for Nuke, and all of them saying the same thing. They told me just start from learning the general Python, you know, the Python that is not related to Nuke. And I was like, okay, it doesn't make any sense to me. So how I can make a tool for Nuke? But now, like after years, I say the same thing. Start from learning a Python general, and when you learn the general Python, then you can read the Foundry Nuke documents to how to make your own tools using Python. And also same thing with Nuke plugins, which is you have to write it in C++, which is a bit more complex.
Awesome. Any questions, guys? Anyone?
Hello. I just
Hey.
have a I just have a quick question for what should undergrad students expect when they go into a company for the first time? Like, is there a lot of pressure on the newbies to, oh, they just graduated, they should still have all the information fresh in their mind, or do they train you up before you start doing your assigned role?
Yeah, they have mostly they have at least 3 months of training, but it doesn't mean for that 3 months you are watching some videos or reading and stuff like that. They're training you in a way that they assign you simple tasks or simple shots. So those shots are not super tricky, and I'm sure you won't stuck on any of those tasks on the first month, or first week, you know. So also you can ask everybody, and asking a question is not a bad thing, what I found. If you don't ask and do the wrong thing for a long time, it's worse. Yeah, but you can ask anytime. It's a really good point for a person that asks questions. So yeah, don't worry. They have documents, they have videos, Also, they have templates, when you join a company, you as a comper, you may start on a big looking shot, a shot that looks huge, looks super cool, but everything done on a template. So you have to just learn how to work with that template first. Maybe I would say working with templates don't allow you to like do your creativity or like use your creativity on the shot, but it's super necessary on a big show because your team is working on like 300 shots, and one person may do just 20 or 30 shots. So you have to work in the same way that the other one do. So that happens on the template. So yeah, you have a guide, you have a template, and you have persons to ask. They don't assign you tricky shots. Yeah, it's not scary at all.
And I just have another question. This is purely out of curiosity, but how many hours per week did you work usually? I mean, I know that would differ depending on crunch time, but I've heard some people that have worked insane hours. I'm like, what? But from your personal experience, what's that been like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, because everybody knows VFX artists are doing like crunch time for sure. But yeah, I would say around like 80% of the year, you're just working normal time, like 40 hours a week, or maybe a bit less, depends on the countries and the regulation. But yeah, on the crunch time, there are like several rules. Also, some shows doesn't allow people to work overtime. It depends on the budget of the show. I was in a show that was in a tricky situation, but the bidding and how the company bid the shot doesn't allow us to do overtime. So we try to deal with the client, try to also that was my job to make our work more efficient, less render times, less like repetitive tasks. That's what I do. I try to find the solution or find the code that do those repetitive tasks every day. So we try to handle that time with no overtime. But yeah, depends on the company, depends on the show. Maybe you join a show for 3 months that has overtime, like 10 days, 10 hours a day or 12 hours, but it doesn't last for full year for sure. It's for a short time.
Thank you. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone? Yep. Can you pass it to her?
Also, companies give you benefits on overtime, like for communication, for meal, and also overtime pay and stuff like that. So try to keep you happy.
Do you have any advice on what we should include and what we should avoid in portfolios based on what you've received feedback from your previous applications and employers and such?
Yeah. So the thing is, the companies are not looking for super cool, complex shots like they do in their biggest shows in your portfolio, for sure. So they're just looking for, even in simple tasks, even if you just paint a scratch or something of a wall or something, but do it in detail and try to, so that relates to like roto prep, camera tracking, and stuff like that. If you make a demo reel as a compositor, I strongly suggest to add these skills there, like 2D camera tracking, 3D camera tracking, and complex rotoscoping with detail, like motion blur, defocus, hair, which is a bit challenging. But if you do hair rotoscopy, that's a big plus as a junior comper. Also complex cleanups like in shaky cameras and huge camera, or also try to show that you preserve the plate detail like grain, all the sharpness and anything you have to keep while removing something or adding something. So try to show that part, that you keep the detail and you're not ruining the plate. If a like a comp soup or I don't know head of department see that reel, that you do care about grain, for example, in the plate that you're working with, that makes you different to the other ones. Because mostly trying to like make cool CG or cool CG shots or full CG shots or even single frame full CG compositing, you know, those sort of works are not really helpful. For example, like if you work on a single frame, which is look really cool, it doesn't matter in a VFX compositing reel. Yeah, because you have to work on a shot series of frames. Yeah.
Great. So paying attention to details and also polish, making sure that it's like finely polished and like professionally, even though it might look simple, but lead or seniors or recruiters will see it, right?
Yeah. Try to keep attention, like keep the details in the plate. Pay attention to black levels, white levels, mostly black levels, which many people still don't care about. And also, I can suggest you some websites then to download some high quality footages. I can share the link with you later. So I usually, because I have some like tutorials in Farsi, so I downloaded some footages from RE cameras, Red cameras, Blackmagic, and Kinefinity. And these companies have like sample footages to download to play with, like mostly for grading and stuff like that. So those are actually raw camera files. Even you can download RE raw files, which is very rare in the industry. Like they shoot on RE raw just for like big blockbusters, but you can easily download those footages and you can use them in your demo reel because it's actually non-commercial use.
Luckily, we use Blackmagic raw filming at school, which is a bonus for students. One thing I wanted to mention and talk about it is that you have a big heart. You're giving back to community. I saw you reviewing compositing of different shots and talking about different things for free and post it on your LinkedIn or on YouTube for the people you care about. This is amazing. So like, why you do that?
I don't know, maybe firstly that helps me, makes me relief. Also, it's always good to have a look on other people's shots, as I say, it helps me with my, like, if I take a supervisor role, that helps me a lot to like find problems or find like anything wrong with the shots of other people. So I do it now in the company, but it's different like when you get shots from other people. Also, yeah, I would say that's the least thing I can do from a distance.
That's very
Yeah.
kind of you.
I really enjoy it. Yeah.
Any other questions? Anyone? Anya again?
Sorry.
No, that's great.
Thank
Great.
you.
Great to ask.
Sorry, I just think earlier you mentioned something about hail rotoscoping, if I'm not wrong. I could have misheard you,
Yes.
but would you mind expanding on what that is?
Yes, actually.
Hair. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. I take it back.
No, that's fine. But yeah, I can like tell you more about rotoscoping hair. So it's when like companies outsource rotoscoping to like other companies, like the companies that are specifically work on rotoscopy. So they don't give you the exact shape of the hair also. They try to make some shapes and animate some shapes that follow the hair movement. So hair rotoscopy is a bit tricky, it's a bit of like animating or something because you have to animate hair bits one by one and follow the shape of the hair movement. But it's not necessary actually pixel perfect roto shape of what you see in the plate. So yeah, that part is a bit tricky. So it's like all splines, not any sort of AI or I don't know, like image calculations or something. It's just some strands, some splines that people animate on the hair, and that's super tricky.
Does copycat or rotobots or these new machine learning technologies help on that?
No. Yeah,
Still.
Rotobot was around for like many years, more than 5 years. Also, right, Sam Hodge, who was like head of development or CG development in the technical side at Rising Sun, was developing this tool. And this tool, I would say it's advanced in a way because it trained based on the actual shots from the other shows. Like we send the shots to external vendor to get a precise, perfect rotoscopy, and they train the software using those results. So they feed it with the right data, but it's still not copycat or any other software can do like very fine detail or transparent edges or hair or smoke or something like that. It's more of like a black and white mask, which is not really useful in a final shot. We are using it for like for a stage we called pre-mult stage, to make a roto for foreground, to add it on top of our CG, which is done automatically in background. Like nobody like assigned to those tasks, is all automated. Automatically generates maps from plate, automatically takes the renders and comp it in a very basic way, just for reviewing. And we have to like for comp final, we have to do everything from scratch in a perfect way. But yeah, for rotoscopy, it's a bit far from being useful. For cleaning up, like marker removal or facial marker removal, it may works if you use it in a right way. But yeah, for deepfake and stuff like that. So yeah, we use AI for replacing the faces on the show Shang-Chi at Rising Sun. So they made a software from scratch for that show, because the other softwares couldn't work on like 4K images, 16-bit, and the color space, ACES color space. So yeah, they have to like make a software from scratch. They hired some people from an Institute of Machine Learning Adelaide or something. Yeah, they spent like 6 months of developing a software. And that software gave us a layer, like a pass for comp, which wasn't useful in a way that you just comp it on top and leave it alone. It wasn't like that. The process was the most frame by frame comp task you may imagine, like fixing all the hair detail, fixing all the motion blur, painting the highlights, painting the shadows and stuff like that. So even if it was super advanced and using an AI, but it still was the most complex comp task I ever had there.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, because like the information you just make sure you review what he said. It's very important points he pointed out. We have a question from Grace here. If you were working on a project and suddenly the deadline changed, how would you handle it?
So if something like that happened, so the company tried to fix that problem. It's not on you to do something magical. They try to hire some people or try to reshuffle the team, like moving people from the other show to another one, because in every company, a couple of shows are running at the same time, so they can borrow artists from the other shows. So yeah, actually the production team tried to fix that in that way, and not on a force on like some people. Maybe you have to do some overtime, but what I see, the overtime are not like crazy that burn you, because many companies do that before and it wasn't helpful. So they mostly changed their way of working in terms of overtime.
Awesome. One last question, anyone? Okay. Thank you so much, Ali. It was a lot of insightful information and talk. We enjoyed listening to your journey, starting from the beginning, going through all these amazing shows, and also the great talk you had about all the technical side of it. Thank you so much. Let's have a
Thank you.
clap for Ali. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Is it okay if my lovely students be in touch with you, and if they want to have your thoughts and opinions on the showreel, are you
I
available
would be
for
more
that?
than happy, for sure. Yeah, send me a message on LinkedIn or email or anything. You can find me easily. Yeah, I'll be happy to keep in touch with you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a lovely rest of the evening.
You too. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.